Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a major operation is unfolding off the coast of Strahan, where hundreds of whales are stranded. For more, let's go straight to reporter Letitia Wallace, who's at Macquarie Heads. Letitia, this is a time-critical operation, isn't it?
Yes, that's right, Kim. There are 3 major sites where pods of whales are stranded in shallow waters off Macquarie Harbour. A recovery mission is being mapped out tonight with plans to get underway at first light tomorrow, taking advantage of a high tide outward. From the air, the magnitude is confronting. Hundreds of pilot whales stranded, beached on sandbars. It's believed the whales came in with the tide overnight.
In total, there's about 270 pilot whales that have been stranded. Whale strandings are not uncommon in Tasmania, and whale strandings of this scale are not uncommon either, but certainly we haven't had one for at least 10 years.
Daryl Delaney was staying nearby and spotted them around 7:30 this morning.
Well, I wondered what it was. I had no idea what it was. No, never want to see it again.
He has spent most of the day watching their condition deteriorate.
They're not flapping about like they were. Early this morning they were flapping about a lot more.
Local pilot Troy Grinning believes half are already dead, the rest won't make it through the night.
You eventually find that 1 or 2 will wash up down the coast further. They don't seem to want to go to sea. Just funny behaviour, I think.
Marine experts arrived this afternoon to assess the situation from the air and by boat and will map out a recovery plan tonight.
Our intention is to map out the plan tonight. We already have a number of resources mobilised and on their way to Strahan, or they've arrived in Strahan. So certainly early tomorrow morning we'll be starting our efforts.
Police say locals should expect road closures around Macquarie Heads tomorrow during the large-scale operation.
We just would request the public's assistance to just try and stay away from the area, and in particular not launch boats from the actual boat ramp itself.
Well, students at the University of Tasmania have been caught up in a massive data breach. For more now, we're joined by reporter Sean McComish. Sean, just how many students have been impacted?
Well, good evening, Kim. The number is truly staggering. Nearly 20,000 students have had their personal information made available. The alarm was raised by a student on August 11. UTAS soon realised anyone with a university email could access files on SharePoint sites on the Office 365 platform. The breach has been fixed, but a thorough investigation has now been launched. It's believed the cause was unintentional. The data includes basic details such as date of birth and mobile phone numbers. Some unauthorised student and staff users have already been identified. Vice-Chancellor Rufus Black has apologised to students and pledged support. We've already seen the university deal with plenty of COVID challenges this year. This was one more headache it certainly didn't need. Kim?
Well, a teenage girl is recovering in hospital after she was assaulted in a daylight robbery in Launceston. Police claim the 37-year-old suspect attacked the 19-year-old juice bar worker before stealing a few $100s cash and the victim's car, which was later recovered. Authorities arrested the man in question around lunchtime today.
Don't get me wrong, this is a violent attack on a defenceless young person for minimal gain.
The 37-year-old offender of no fixed address is expected to face court tomorrow. A coronial inquest has heard a teenager who died after being crushed by a forklift on the northwest coast wasn't wearing a seatbelt. 19-year-old Eric Marshall died in October 2014 after a forklift rolled on top of him while he was working as a farmhand at Lockhaven Produce in Burnie. The inquest heard he did not have a licence to operate the machinery and had only been taught how to use it 3 weeks prior to the incident. The inquest continues tomorrow. A Hobart man and his dog have been found alive and well after spending a night lost in Tasmanian bushland. Authorities say the rescue mission proved difficult in the tough vegetation, but the hikers' cries for help led searchers to the location.
packing up after hours of searching in the dense wilderness. This crew breathing a sigh of relief as a desperate rescue mission in the rugged Florentine Valley successfully wraps up.
We've had search parties and a helicopter out overnight. The helicopter's just located him and they're in the process of winching him out and then his dog.
The 59-year-old experienced bushwalker and his dog were reported missing by family members at around 7 last night, after not returning home from a day walk in the challenging environment.
Even though we've got good weather today, the location of where he is in thick rainforest and it's quite difficult searching.
Crews set up base here near the walking track in the Florentine Valley as the search continued on throughout the morning and then finally came to an end just before midday.
He's uninjured. I spoke to him on the phone and he said that his legs are a bit bashed up, which isn't unusual for that area, but medically he's fine.
The hiker's best friend Heidi also in good spirits on her ride home in the Westpac rescue helicopter. Authorities say the man's calls for help aided in their search.
He couldn't hear our search parties due to the conditions up there, but his mindset of, when I get a chance and every hour I'm going to yell, it actually made our job a lot easier.
While also issuing a reminder to all bushwalkers as the weather warms up.
Yeah, be prepared, tell someone where you're going, carry a PLB if you've got one.
Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmanian farms can bring in experienced interstate workers from today to help fill the void left by seasonal fruit pickers. At least 2 applications for incoming workers have been made so far, but the Primary Industries Minister has once again moved to reassure the public that strict conditions will apply to keep the community safe.
They need to come from non-affected areas and meet those requirements upon arrival in terms of doing those health checks. And then, yes, the 14 days quarantine does apply under strict conditions.
We will have our inspectors working closely in the industry, inspecting the workplaces. That will include both the farms as well as accommodation that forms part of the workplace and their transportation arrangements.
4,000 jobs for Tasmanians have now been advertised on the Harvest Trail website. Construction has begun on a $4 million expansion of the Southern Support School in Howrah. The project will include new classrooms, staff spaces and a relocated childcare centre.
3 new classrooms, all purpose-built with sensory spaces for our students within the classrooms, even things down to sensory lighting for the students to help them stay regulated and calm and achieve really well with their learning.
What this investment will ensure is a better relocation of school infrastructure.
The new buildings are expected to be open by the beginning of 2022. A not-for-profit organisation providing support to the elderly and those with a disability has today delivered meal number 5,000. In honour of the occasion, community-based supporters launched a new awareness campaign to help illustrate the services they provide.
We have a mix of clientele that receive disability services, aged care services, spring cleaning, home maintenance, domestic assistance, social support and of course our meal delivery service.
It generates well-being, good health and good spirits, and it keeps you involved in the community.
CBS provides assistance to more than 3,500 people statewide.
In a landmark moment, Tasmanian cyclist Richie Porte has become only the 2nd Australian to score a podium finish at the Tour de France. Some of Porte's closest friends say this is a dream he's been chasing since he first hopped on a bike.
In all his illustrious career, this is Richie Porte's crowning moment.
As one of the great riders, it gives him so much more credibility.
3rd place in the Tour de France, but in his own words, it feels like a win.
To stand on the podium was just unbelievable, and just such a great moment, and I was really able to savour that today.
Only the 2nd Australian to stand among the elite in Paris, today alongside 22-year-old champion Tadej Pogacar, and there were cheers 17,000 kilometres away.
Everyone's coming up and saying, hey, what about Richie? How good was that?
One of his childhood coaches under no illusions how this victory will rate.
The trophy he received last night will be plumb bang smack in the middle of his mantelpiece.
Especially considering the 35-year-old's shocking history of injuries and crashes.
Every year it's something, and to come on, to get on the podium, he'd be elated.
Friend Graham Radley has seen all the lows, but today only highs.
I sent him a couple of messages this morning, but I reckon he'd have a fair bit on, and he'll get back though. Yeah, he always does.
Yesterday's blistering time trial elevated him into the top 3. Today's ride through Paris's most iconic landmarks was a mere formality. This achievement has been all the talk here in Hadspen, in Richie's hometown, and there's now calls to build a plaque or statue in his name.
The amount of time that he put on the road every day, it's a credit to him.
His biggest fans can rest easy after almost a month of early mornings, a nightcap of port, certainly with no hangover tomorrow. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
And that brings us now to the RACT Insurance Player of the Year votes in the TSL after round 11. Elijah Reardon is best on ground for Kingborough in the game against Clarence. North Launceston's Jay Foon took out top honours against Lauderdale. And Dylan Riley is once again best on for Launceston against North Hobart. And those votes means Riley is now catching up to teammate Joby Harper. Just 2 votes separates the pair. Kieran Lovell and Josh McGuinness remain in contention. Staying with TSL, Lauderdale says to only fall 10 points short against the competition's benchmark team, North Launceston, is a promising sign heading into the finals. The side says its best form is ahead on the back end of the season.
After a stint in the VFL, Luke Nelson knew Tassie footy would be physical on the ball.
If you're winning contested ball, I think you're going a long way to winning the game.
Saturday, he realised it's just as tough off the ball. Although the margin was only 10 points, his side aren't pulling any punches in its assessment.
We think room for improvement, and if we get some things right, we can definitely match it with the top teams.
The best, they believe, is North Launceston, and the weekend's performance has given them confidence heading into finals. The next challenge, Glenorchy on Wednesday.
We'll have a relatively young team out there, but the expectation will be put to them that, this is a game that we get up for as a club.
State cricket bosses say Tasmania is well in the mix to become a Big Bash League hub for the upcoming season.
There's 62 BBL games that need to be played, so we'll be putting our hand up to make sure we get a share of them.
So I'm not really sure where the first hub's going to be. There's talk of it being down here in Hobart, which would be great, giving a few extra weeks at home, which would be good.
And Glenorchy is charging towards the finals after a 7-0 thrashing.
I don't think I've ever won a game by 7 goals before. It's the biggest win of my career personally.
They believe this weekend's clash with Launceston City won't be as easy.
It's going to be a tough game. Always a battle up there in Launceston.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
Good evening. Early showers over most districts before contracting to the northeast today and clearing. Hobart the warmest with 21 degrees. Launceston and Burnie 16, Devonport 15 today. Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park 20, Grove 19, St Helens 17, Strawn, Smithton and the King Island got to 16 today. Flinders Island and Lowhead 14 degrees. The cloud band with the cold front moved to the east before lower level convective cloud moved over the state, heavier over the northwest. Cloud with that front pushed up to New South Wales as well. A broad area of thunderstorm activity is linked to troughs and fronts over the mainland. More cloud spirals around lows to our west. Tomorrow, the complex area of low pressure moves over the state ahead of the next high. The front still active over Queensland. Winds north-northwesterly at 15 to 25 knots and to 30 knots over the north and west, an increase to 35 knots later over the northeast. We have a gale warning including Flinders Island down to St Helens Point, and a strong wind warning has been issued for waters between Southeast Cape and Wineglass Bay. Hobart a high of 18 tomorrow with a shower or two. The showers should clear from Adventure Bay, 17 the top and 12 the high for Tarraleah. Launceston, 14 the high with showers. Devonport a windy day as well, 14 the top, same sort of thing for Bridport. Burnie tomorrow expecting a top of 14 as well, showery and windy, same for Strawn, 13 the high for Marrawar. St Helens tomorrow expecting 15 degrees and showers, a shower or two clearing from Swansea, 17 the maximum, 16 the high for Whitemark. On Wednesday, showers possible again, mainly over the west, south and Bass Strait. Showers on Thursday, falling a snow above 800 metres in the southwest, and on Friday more showers as winds shift southerly by evening. A shower or two clearing from Perth. Showers for Adelaide and Melbourne, sunny and 27 degrees in Sydney, partly cloudy but ticking over into the 30s in Brisbane. Partly cloudy in Hobart and 16 at the moment, 12 and clear in Launceston, Devonport clear as well and 11 degrees. Now during these testing times, Kim, I try not to buy anything online, but I have today. I've gone online just for an experiment. I bought a chicken and an egg. I'll keep you posted.
Which one did you buy first, Murph?
Which one's going to come first?
Yeah, very true. Thank you, Murph. Good night to you.